Okay, we're in Xiamen, China, and we'll be taking a short hop over to Macau in hopes we get a nice visual approach into a very scenic part of this part of the world. Here in Xiamen, everything looks great conditions-wise. And we're ready to go in the flight deck. Just gonna go through our checklists and get out of here as soon as we can. Pre-flight checklist: oxygen tested 100%, navigation transfer and display switches normal, auto, window heat on, pressurization mode selector auto, flight instruments heading 057, altimeter 29.97, parking brake. Parking brake set, engine start levers cut off, pre-flight checklist complete. Before start, flight deck door closed and locked, fuel pumps on, passenger signs on, windows locked, MCP set, takeoff speed set, CDU pre-flight completed, rotor aileron trim free and 0, taxi and takeoff briefing completed, anti-collision light, on, before start checklist complete.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left. Roger that. Ready to push. Tail to the left. Parking brakes off. Brakes released. Brakes released, here we go.
Starting number 2. Number 1.
Pushback complete. Parking brake set. Brake set. Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Before taxi checklist, generators on, probe heat on, anti-ice off, isolation valve auto. Engine start switches continuous recall. Check. Auto brake set to RTO. Check. Engine start levers are idle detent. Flight controls have been checked. Ground equipment is clear. Before taxi checklist complete.
Xiamen ground Xiamen Air 738 ready to taxi straight out departure with Gulf.
Xiamen Air 738 taxi to and hold short of runway 05 using taxiway Tango Tree, Bravo 4 Tango 8 Tango 7 Bravo 2 Alpha Alpha 2. Contact tower on 118.25 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 05 via taxiway Alpha 1 Xiamen Air 738. Xiamen Tower Xiamen Air 738 ready at runway 05 straight out departure.
Xiamen Air 738, hold short runway 05. Traffic is on short final.
Hold short runway 05 Xiamen Air 738.
China Southern Niner, 263 exit runway when able. Junyo Airlines 7047, follow the on the runway. Wind 044 at 5. Clear to land runway 05. Clear to land runway 05 Junyo Airlines 7047. China Southern Niner, 263 exit runway when able. China Southern Niner 263, turn next taxiway. China Southern Niner 263, contact ground on 121.7. .7 for China Southern Niner 263.
Before takeoff checklist, flaps 5. Trim 4.48 units. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Airlines 7047, turn next taxiway. Airlines 7047, turn next taxiway. Airlines 7047, turn next taxiway. Genio Airlines 7047, contact ground on 121.7. Xiamen Air 738, altimeter 29.94, wind 044 at 5. Departing straight out approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 05.
Cleared for takeoff runway 05 Xiamen Air 738.
Going to 121.7 Genio Airlines 7047.
Stable. Check.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Xiamen Air 738, leading my airspace frequency change approved.
Xiamen Tower Xiamen Air 738 frequency change.
Flaps 1.
China Eastern
Flaps up.
29er, tree 9er, descend and maintain 2,600 feet.
Retracts off.
Descend and maintain 2,600 feet China Eastern 29er, tree 9er.
After takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on, packs auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete. VNAV, LNAV, command day.
China Eastern 29er, tree 9er, you are 10 miles west of Xiamen. Contact Xiamen Tower on 118.25 when inbound on the approach. Tower on 118.25 China Eastern 29er, tree 9er.
So our departure has been pretty much a very gradual U-turn out of the airport. There's the airport, there's Xiamen. And passing 10,000, we'll get the landing lights off. So we'll be airborne for about 58 more minutes, according to the computer. We're going to 380 and staying there as our final cruise. And the flight plan on the map, you can see we're pretty much going to be following the coast on our initial southwesterly heading, and then a westward heading. I was mentioning I'm hoping the approach will be very scenic. We are doing we're currently slated to land on runway 16, which actually requires sort of a last minute turn. We're gonna follow this path. We're gonna fly south of the airport in a southwesterly heading. Then we're gonna take a northwesterly heading. Then a northeasterly heading, easterly, southeasterly, and then turning to 160 for the runway. Again, with good weather, this should be very scenic. I've only been to Macau by sea from Hong Kong as a tourist, so I've never landed here, but it looks like a pretty interesting landing. We're using the localizer X-ray approach into runway 16. So as we get closer, I'll pull up the airport chart and review the landing. Again, first time, so I want to make sure I can do it as accurately as possible. We're passing or past 18,000. We're going to standardize the altimeter, and we will check back during descent. Okay, we are back flying over Hong Kong currently. I mentioned that my only Macau experience was taking a ferry from here in Hong Kong. I want to say 2005, so yeah, almost 20 years. There's the old airport. And ahead of us is the new airport. Well, and it's really not new anymore, it's been around for a while. Last time I flew into this airport in real life was, again, when I visited in 2005, so ever since they reclaimed more land and added a third runway, and I'm assuming the reclaimed land is going to be more terminals as well. I know it took a while for Hong Kong to get to somewhat back to normal post-COVID as far as the traffic figures are concerned, but I think they slowly but surely got back to some kind of normalcy. Now, when I flew to Hong Kong 18 years ago, there was no midfield terminal, so there's also an addition. So yeah, I only experienced the main terminal the few times I flew in and out of Hong Kong back in 2005. I've already entered the landing data that we're going to need for arrival in Macau. So going through our descent checklist, I already went through it, but we'll go through it again. We got our pressurization landing altitude has been set on the panel. Check the recall. We have auto brake 2, VREF, and approach briefing completed. So let's go over the approach one more time, since we have some time. So here's the airport itself. I mentioned we're going to be landing on runway 16. It looks like Macau, like Hong Kong, also has an airport from reclaimed land. So an 11,024-foot runway. Should be able to exit on Foxtrot and then take this causeway, Charlie 1 taxiway over to the main terminal. And the approach I was talking about, we are going to be flying over India Delta Uniform Sierra, head northwest to Zulu Uniform Hotel VOR, then take a 36-degree heading to Zulu Uniform Hotel, turn to 167, intercept the localizer, and turn to 118. So again, I'm really hoping this is very visual. It looks like a really cool approach. Again, never done it. It looks like it's gonna have a last-minute turn to the left, so it's gonna put my maneuvering skills to the test also. So yeah, it should be really interesting. See if we can get the altimeter here.
Macau Tower Xiamen Air 738 is 9 miles southeast, 13,300 feet, with Charlie to land.
Xiamen Air 738 Macau Tower. Altimeter 29.89, wind 09 tree at 1 tree. Fly left traffic runway 16.
Fly left traffic runway 16 Xiamen Air 738.
Approach checklist, altimeter 29.89. Approach checklist complete. Since we are outside the US, it's altimeter 1012. The airport. We're going to be flying very close to it. And it's going to take a slow loop around the area and come back in. Now, from what I see, I don't see a lot of vertical terrain, so I'm assuming this approaching to 16 maybe could be related to airspace restrictions. I'd have to look it up. I see a straight path to fly heading 164 into the runway, but for whatever reason we have to wait till the very end to make the final turn. I do remember some elevations in Macau when I visited, but nothing very significant. So. I think the last time I made an approach requiring kind of a last minute turn had to be the LDA approach here in Washington DC into runway 19er, and maybe last year I did the approach into Rio's Santos Dumont from the south, which either requires a last minute left turn or a last minute right turn depending on where you're coming in from. That one being very challenging because the runway is only 4,100 feet or 1,800 meters. We got plenty of runway here in Macau, and let me see. I want to look towards the airport to see what causes this to be a last minute turn. There is some terrain down there, and I know I was at an elevation taking pictures of Macau when I visited. But yeah, I still don't see anything significant requiring this last second turn into the runway. But we'll get a better look as we get lower. I got the radar on too, the terrain radar on, to see if there's any indication of high terrain. So it could all be just procedural. And the only runway that has ILS is in the opposite direction. So if you were to land on 3-4, you can use ILS. Here landing on 16 is RNAV, localizer visual. Flaps 1. And since I've been here, as you can see in front of me, they've built a causeway and a tunnel to be able to go by land from Macau to Hong Kong. So yeah, always modernizing. I mean, this is one of the China and its two semi-autonomous regions are always growing. It's hard to keep up. So I would not recognize them today compared to the 18 years since I've been to China. I'll continue to slow down here. I'm getting ready for landing a little sooner than usual since we have a first officer to help with the flows. All our lights on. Get our flaps to 5.
2500.
Check. Yeah, definitely no vertical obstructions to speak of, significant ones to speak of. So I'm assuming this is more procedural than anything else. And maybe that's the one you're flying over the city for these landings. Okay, I'm gonna get my final approach speed set up here. We got our continuous starting switches, we got our speed brake is armed, so we're gonna just go down the landing checklist here. I'll put the gear down. And I got manual flight, my airplane.
Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
Flaps 30. Landing check is complete.
Xiamen Air 738 wind 09er tree at 12. Cleared to land runway 16.
Landing clearance.
Clear to land runway 16 Xiamen Air 738.
Runway inside. Very scenic approach for sure. And Macau has definitely grown since I've been here.
Bank angle.
Okay. Now continue.
1000.
Crosswind, 15 knots.
$500. $400. $300. Approaching minimums.
Continue.
200.
Landing.
Minimums. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse green. Manual brakes.
Xiamen Air 738 exit runway when able.
Okay to clean up.
121.725 Xiamen Air 738.
Macau Airport information, Charlie.
Macau ground Xiamen Air 738 request taxi to the gate.
Xiamen Air 738 taxi to gate 2 Bravo using taxiway Charlie 2 Charlie 1.
Taxiing to gate 2 Bravo using taxiway Charlie 2 Charlie 1 Xiamen Air 738.
So controller said 2 Bravo, so I'm assuming they mean Bravo 2, which is here in the middle of the terminal. So we'll go to Bravo 2. Brakes set, engines out. APU generator on. Signs off.
Macau ground Xiamen Air 738, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Xiamen Air 738, the jetway is going to be connected.
We'll get our ground services started. Chalk set, so parking brake off. It's very warm here. I'm going to request an AC unit as well. Going to ground power. APU off. APU fuel pump off. And as soon as our AC is connected, we'll turn the packs off. Okay, AC connected. Packs off. A-call off. Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps off, probe heat off, hydraulic panel set, flaps up, parking brake off, engine start levers cut off, weather radar off. Shutdown checklist. Secure checklist. IRS off, emergency exit lights off, window heat off, packs off. Secure complete. Okay, welcome to Macau. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the casinos, but don't lose your money. Yeah, definitely a nice scenery, very scenic out here. So we will see you next time.